Welcome to This Week News Online, our weekly presentation of news about your community's schools, city governments, and high school and local sports. To see our coverage in detail, please see our print edition delivered to your doorstep each Thursday or visit thisweeknews.com. Heath Mayor Dan Dupps has submitted his resignation, effective June 1st. Dupps says he chose to step down to spend more time with his family. Councilmember Richard Wall has agreed to fill the remainder of the term that ends December 31st, 2009. Stay tuned for highlights of the May 8th election. And now a report from Quinn Bowman.
A former Delaware County Children's Service supervisor failed to follow up on abuse allegations of a now-deceased infant, but she wasn't alone in her missteps, a preliminary report says. More than 4 months after the alleged fatal beating of 11-month-old Nicholas Goodrich, a draft special administrative review by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services has noted that several Delaware County employees diverted from agency policy and processing reports of the boy's abuse. The review, to be finalized by week's end, says the Delaware County Department of Job and Family Services and its Children's Services Division have taken steps to prevent reoccurrences of the incident. It also sheds light on how employees failed to properly document and share information from 2 abuse reports prior to the Delaware boy's death. The review stems from Goodrich's death on December 12th. According to Delaware police, he was allegedly assaulted by his mother's live-in boyfriend, 21-year-old Raytone Wilson, who now faces charges of aggravated murder. Lee Hayes, Delaware County Children's Services intake coordinator at the time, was fired after the incident. County officials said she failed to investigate reports that Goodrich was being abused.
Thanks, Quinn, and now we go to Jeremy Stewart for sports.
Hilliard-Davidson girls basketball coach Kathy Lindsay has resigned after 10 seasons. The one-time Ohio State assistant led the Wildcats to a 103-111 record, including a 3-18 mark last season. Said Lindsay, "A few disgruntled players were attempting to dictate the terms and conditions of my coaching situation. I've been a college and a high school coach for 28 years, and I did not feel like the environment would be productive or enjoyable for me or my players." In boys basketball, the DeSales Stallions, who advanced to the Division II state tournament the last 2 seasons, had 3 players decide where they were going to go play at the next level. Alex Kellogg will take his skills to the Big East, where he'll play for Providence, while Dane Johnson, the DeSales all-time assist leader, will head west and play for Western Oregon. Elijah Allen, who formed a powerful 1-2 punch with Kellogg at forward, will head to Maryville, Missouri, where he'll play for the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Finally, the championship road begins this week for high school baseball, softball, tennis, and boys volleyball teams in the final postseason run of this school year. Next week, the lacrosse and track and field teams will join the chase for state titles. For an update on coaching situations, players, signings, and the chase for the state title, visit thisweeknews.com and read your local edition of This Week community newspapers.
And here are some highlights from the May 8th election. That's your community this week. Please be sure to visit our friends at columbusalive.com and dispatch.com. And don't forget, for the latest in community news from Worthington to Dublin and Upper Arlington to Canal Winchester, visit thisweeknews.com.